Hi, Beth here. In this video, we'll be exploring the cross-activation theory, which is a possible explanation of how synesthesia might develop. This theory is based off the idea that during early childhood, there was a lack of synaptic pruning. Now, first off, what actually is synaptic pruning and why is it important? Each area of the brain is specialized for processing specific sensory information. For example, the visual cortex processes information from the eyes. The auditory cortex processes information from the ears. At first, these areas are not specialized. There are connections between them all, meaning they sort of work in combination with each other. The amount of synaptic connections between brain regions increases at a constant rate until reaching a peak around 2 to 3 years old. This is called synaptogenesis. At around age 4 to 5, the pruning process begins and continues all the way up until adulthood. Any synapses that have not been strengthened, so the unused ones, are eliminated. This process happens so that the remaining synapses can consume more energy as they receive more blood flow. This means that the brain can function more efficiently and the individual regions can become more specialized. Before the pruning process, infants show high levels of cross-modal brain activation, meaning that the brain areas are working in conjunction with each other. For example, unlike most adults, when young children hear spoken language, they display activation in their visual cortex as well as their auditory cortex. Once pruning has occurred, this joint activation decreases as the two brain areas are no longer connected. However, sometimes this pruning process can go wrong. It is thought that unusually weak synaptic pruning in early childhood could be the cause of synesthesia in adults. During the processing of stimuli, like young children, evidence shows that some synesthetes also have activation in more than one mode of their brain. For example, in sound-colour synesthetes, both the auditory and visual cortex are active, which may explain why they can see colours when they experience sound. In addition to the lack of synaptic pruning causing extrasensory perceptions, the additional synaptic connections that synesthetes possess may also give them other unique abilities. One study found that synesthetes had the superior ability compared to non-synesthetes to discriminate between different non-native stimuli, for example sounds, chimpanzee faces and upside-down faces. This type of discrimination ability usually decreases after synaptic pruning occurs in children, as 6-month-old babies are much better at making these discriminations than older children. This study, along with the previous findings, both suggest that people with synesthesia have similar brain activations to a pre-pruned child. This suggests that the lack of pruning could be what is causing synesthesia.